Hi. Before we get going on the lectures for nursing management and professional concepts, I thought I'd introduce myself in case you don't know who I am. I'm Trevor Loreen. You can call me Trevor. I have been teaching at LTC since January 2009, and I'm primarily in fourth semester, management, advanced clinical practice, and transitions. So in fourth semester, you'll see me in potentially many different locations. Prior to coming out here, I have been a nurse for 19 years. I worked initially, let me tell you my education first. I went to NWTC in Green Bay, got my associate's degree just as you're doing, and then I decided to immediately go back and get my bachelor's degree, but I postponed that for 11 years. And then I finally went and got my bachelor's degree from Chamberlain College of Nursing, 100% online program. I really encourage it if you like online learning. About 3 months after finishing that, I was offered a position to teach at LTC. That obligated me to get my master's degree. So I went to University of Phoenix, and in 21 months I completed 42 credits of a master's degree, and I finished that, and that's it. I'm done with school. That was a lot of work. So when you tell me how hard your work-life school balance is, I really get it. I really understand. That's why I try to make it as easy for you as possible. When I was a nurse, I worked at Bellin Hospital in Green Bay. I live in Green Bay, by the way. I started in the cardiac step-down unit right out of college. And then after about 2 years, I progressed over to the critical care unit. Did that for 2 years, and I realized I needed more family time. I loved my job. I loved working critical care, but working all PMs, and my boys at the time were, like 8 and 5, and I wanted to have time with them. So I left the hospital, went to an insurance company, did some underwriting work for them. That's where you did evaluate health risk and then set policies, or set premiums. Not a popular job. Did that for about 3 years. Wanted to get back into Green Bay and work because that first insurance company was in Appleton. Got a job at an insurance company in Green Bay doing similar work, except this is looking at claims after the fact and determining whether we will pay it or not. Again, not a popular job, especially when you're making those decisions that we're not going to pay for that MRI. Did that for 3 years, at which time our company got bought. And in that process, while our company was undergoing being absorbed into the other company, the company that purchased us also got bought. And then a few months later, our department was wiped out. Okay, I was really happy with that. Maybe some of you have had jobs where you have a good job, but you're not happy. That described me. It was a good job. I wasn't happy. It wasn't taking care of people, which is what I really wanted to do. So when they called me in and say, "See ya," I'm like, "Thank you." I went home and told my wife that I was going to go back to the hospital, but I wanted to go to an ER. And she said, "But you've never worked in an ER." And I said, "That's going to make it a little bit harder for me, isn't it?" I started applying at jobs, and this is where I'm going to tell you, never assume that you can't get a job just because you don't have the right background. I had no ER work, and in fact, when I applied for that job, it had been 6 years since I put rubber gloves on. I was that out of practice. I got a call from the Aurora Two Rivers ER, and I started working there. I worked at the 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. shift 3 days a week, a great shift, loved it, learned a ton, and moved into quasi-management. I became a house supervisor on a very part-time basis. A couple days a week I would be in charge of the hospital, which taught me how to work with multiple departments, which is the best part of the job. The worst part was calling people in and saying, "We have a sick call, can you come in?" But every job has its downsides. While I was working there, I decided to get my bachelor's degree, and then ultimately got hired here and got my master's degree. As I said, I had young boys back in the late 90s, early 2000s. They're much older now. They're both out of the house. I am empty nested. It's awesome. I love it. One works for Epic down in Madison. You've probably worked with an Epic product in one of your clinical settings. If not, you probably will. So he works for them. The other one is working at a restaurant as a server. They're on their own. They're doing well. It's great. My wife and I, we are totally downsizing to a small apartment. We are trying to focus our lives get rid of a lot of stuff, and just really focus on what's important. Since she's a teacher too, the focus is going to be on being the best we can in the classroom, and that is my goal too. Other than that, I have a dog at home. He's a 9-year-old pug named Ozzy. He's my baby that I take care of all the time. And I have the normal range of hobbies that keep me very busy when I'm not doing everything else. This summer has been an odd summer for me. I had bilateral knee replacements back in May. As of a couple days ago, I'm recording this on July 29th. As of 2 days ago, I was released from physical therapy. So now I'm just rehabbing on my own at this point. So when we start talking about patient care and quality measures and things like that, I'll be using some of my experiences in the hospital as a patient as anecdotal evidence of why we should do things the way we do it. I'm always available by email, so never be afraid to email me. I have office hours that'll be posted in the hallway. You can always see me in the office. I try to provide a good ability for you to contact me when you have questions at all times. This class, in the past, people have said it is challenging. It's because it's about concepts that are not normally considered to be nursing concepts. It's not about patient care directly. It's not about wound care. It's not about anything like that. But it's about the background, the business of healthcare, which keeps everything running. So we're going to talk about evidence-based practice and legal problems and ethical problems, and how do politics influence healthcare, and how about economics? How does that influence healthcare? And how to communicate and work together, how to delegate. That's a challenging skill. That's the one skill most students have the biggest difficult time with, is learning how to delegate. We're going to talk about time prioritization. And then lastly, the last learning plan will be all about preparing for that RN role, because that's what this is all about. That's me and the course in a nutshell. I look forward to seeing you in class. We meet Friday mornings, 8 o'clock. Don't be afraid to bring in your coffee or caffeinated beverage of choice. And I will see you starting in September. Thanks.